I'm Nicole Rensenbrink and this is Counseling Tips for Adults. Today I'm talking about substance abuse or addiction problems, particularly as it applies to having those of us who have a loved one or family member who has that kind of problem. Anyway, I'm going to talk about addiction in the brain, whose problem that is, and then some choices that you can make accordingly. First off, today you can see I have my trusty board and I'm wearing my trusty Christmas vest because that's the holiday coming up that I celebrate, as do many of you, and that brings a lot of potential for awkward and painful and ugly situations with somebody who is a substance abuser. So anyway, this is a brain, and I'm going to talk about how chemicals work in the brain pertaining to addictions. So we all have the potential, and we all do make these happy chemicals in our brain. Here's some happy chemicals. In a normal life, these happy chemicals get released. We do certain things, when we do these certain things that make us happy. Maybe that's going to a movie with your sweetheart. Maybe that's just eating some delicious dessert. Maybe that's running and playing with your dogs. So, normal life, happy chemicals. With substance abusers, they abuse substance, and that gives them a rush of more happy chemicals. The brain, being smart like it is, then makes more homes for these happy chemicals to go, so they have some place to land, and the person feels, woohoo, super happy, which really encourages them to keep abusing substances, making more and more of these happy chemicals, more and more happy chemical homes, and the state of euphoria. But as time goes on, as we know with substance abuse, that a lot of bad things start to happen because you don't make good decisions when you're loaded, and you don't make good decisions when you're in between being loaded or recovering from being loaded. So let's say the person's life is now turning problematic and they decide, I need to quit abusing substances. So they quit abusing the substances, but the brain cannot get rid of the happy chemical homes anymore. So there is no extra happy chemicals anymore, but there are still extra happy chemical homes. And so the brain now, oops, that guy has a home. The brain now feels unhappy because all these little areas are feeling deprived. And what this state of affairs does is propel the person to want to go back to abusing substances. No matter how crazy it's making their life, no matter what damage they're doing to the others who they genuinely may love, this is so intense in their brains that they fall prey and victim to it, and they carry on with substance abuse. So, main point for you with this is, what this means is that addiction is the problem of the addict, not of you. Even if you have some things in your past that make you feel sketchy as a parent, as many of us do, ultimately, addiction is something that is going on in an individual's brain that you didn't cause, can't control, and can't cure. That's a line somebody told me from Al-Anon, a program for family members of addicts. So, that said though, even though the problem of addiction belongs to the addict, they can be your problem if they're creating havoc in your life. And your reaction to them is definitely your problem and yours to deal with. That leaves you with choices. First choice I'd encourage you to take is to be honest with the addict or alcoholic about what you see in their behavior. Sit them down, find some time to talk when they're not loaded, and tell them in as kind of a way as you can possibly maintain that you are really concerned about them, and you're concerned for the following reasons. They aren't able to work, their relationships with others are in disarray, they aren't able to be intimate with you because they're always in an altered state of consciousness that makes them unavailable. Whatever it is that you see, let them know so they have that information. And then you'll at least have done your part and what you can about that. If you have any guilt about it too, from your own past stuff, then you can say that at that time and then let it go. Don't continue to carry that on. The next thing you want to do is watch your expectations. So what you want to expect from an alcoholic or an addict is that their behavior and how they will act is just like how they've acted before. As a substance abuser, and as long as they're using substance, that's what they're going to do, is abuse substance. So when it comes to things like Christmas, you want to plan accordingly. It's like, okay, so if, let's say, Tommy is an alcoholic in the family, you might want to talk to family members about what should we do if Tommy gets loaded, because chances are he will. Is he a threat? If he's a threat and there's vulnerable people at your party, you want to know how you're going to handle that, or you might want to disinvite Tommy altogether until he's not abusing substances, so you don't have to worry about him hurting vulnerable family members or friends. If he's not a threat and he's just annoying, obnoxious, or just unconscious, or idiotic in some kind of way, then you might just want to look at all of your expectations. Maybe a joke about whose turn it is, just listen to Tommy go on and on. Or maybe you just find ways that you steel your heart from feeling hurt about his behavior and, smile and nod and listen for a little bit and go about your business, really connecting with people who are around that you can really genuinely connect with. And just get through it, because in that case, maybe it's more important to you to have him around no matter what state he's in than not. That implies that you have to be able to let go of what you wished for him. And that's so painful, I know, it's so disappointing. When you love someone very much, you know their potential, and you see that going away for something that seems so easy to get rid of, like a substance abuse problem. But yet it seems insurmountable to do anything about. So there are things you can do about that, namely get support. That can be from friends and family, but it also can be from programs like I implied before, Al-Anon, which is the partner program to Alcoholics Anonymous. There are really different programs online you can find too. There is something called Smart Recovery that has a program for family and friends, and there's also Rational Recovery that has a program for family and friends. All different, but so are we. So hopefully, don't give up that there's no support for you if you can't find it first time. Continue to shop around, and somebody's out there, or some theory is out there that is bound to be of help to you. Anyway, I wish you all the best, and I hope I've been of help.